Hi everyone, Didem here. It's been a very, very heavy week news-wise, and unless you live under a rock, I'm sure by now you've heard of the name of Charlie Kirk. Maybe you saw the horrible, horrible footage of what happened to him earlier this week. Maybe you read about it in the news, or maybe you went and watched one of his debates. However you were exposed to him, it's clear that his death shocked the entire world, and I do mean the entire world. It's just insane seeing how many people are actually talking about this and responding to what happened and weighing in all around the world. And the reason why this event generated so much attention is because so many people realized that this was not just a political assassination or an assassination of a political figure, let's say somebody that had very strong opinions. This was a direct attempt to really literally attack freedom of speech. This was an attack on freedom of speech. And many people realize this, and that's why many people are talking about it, because many people are scared. They're scared that in liberal democracies, we are not free to speak anymore. We're not free to disagree anymore. But let me tell you something. Having a different opinion should not be a death sentence. As simple as that. However you felt about the guy, you liked him, you hated him, you loved him, you absolutely despised everything he had to say, having a different opinion should not be a death sentence. And we actually dropped the ball on that, I think, a long time ago. What we are seeing right now, what happened this week, is the result of years and years of telling people that anybody and everybody who disagrees with them is not just wrong. You see, that's a one thing. I think if you look at people who have a different political opinion than you as people that are wrong, maybe they have, you disagree on a few items here and there, and you say, okay, I wouldn't do it that way, but whatever. We've way past this kind of discourse when it comes to politics. Now people are talking directly about morals and good versus evil. People are now looking at those who disagree with them not just as that a person that has a different opinion, but they look at them as someone who's evil and someone who's wrong. And that kind of talking directly led to what happened to Charlie Kirk this week. Because people, especially younger people, are being told for years now that anybody who disagrees with them is a fascist, it's a Nazi, it's a this, is that, this is completely wrong. We've created a coddled generation, a generation that is intellectually lazy because all they hear is the same talking points over and over and over again. And when they get exposed to something that's different, something that they've never heard before, something that's new, they perceive this as danger. They get triggered. We have a word for that. They get triggered and they perceive different ideas to be dangerous. Let me tell you something. The biggest danger actually is violence. What happened to Charlie Kirk is dangerous. Speaking words, having debates, having conversations, disagreeing with people, that's not dangerous. That's healthy. That's how a healthy democratic society should function. In a healthy democratic society, people should be free and safe. Most importantly, they should feel safe to form opinions that may go against the majority. That's fine. You should be feeling free to think. I can't believe I'm saying this, but yes, you should feel free to think. You should feel free to formulate an opinion, to get exposed to new information and maybe change your mind, and then change your mind again if you want to, and then disagree with the people on the other side. On the other side, I put this in air quotes because there's multiple sides, because not every two human beings think the same way, thank God, because we are rational, reasonable creatures and we are able to formulate our own opinions. And the reason why our societies are democratic is because we are free to express the way we view things. And we should feel safe to continue doing that. I don't know where this kind of thinking is going to take us. I think the sooner we realize that we're all human beings, the better. Um, I'm unfortunately seeing so many negative reactions of people celebrating what happened, excusing what happened. Of course, I've seen also a lot of people, completely say this is not okay, and political violence has no place in a free and democratic society, which it absolutely does not. But I also cannot ignore the fact that there are so many who are just point blank either celebrating or excusing or saying things along the lines of, well, he had it coming. Why? Because he disagreed with you or something? Because he offended you? Because he dared to speak his mind? That should not be a death sentence. And to all the people that may have a celebratory reaction to what happened, I want to say that, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but in order to humanize the other side, it might be better if you got off the internet, if you got off comments, if you got off the reels, and if you got off the online world and went out there and talked to people directly, people that disagree with you, people that have a different opinion. This will really help you humanize the other side. And this was exactly what Charlie Kirk was doing in his work with Turning Point USA. He was actually going out there to talk to people in person, because we are now so much veiled in the anonymity of the online world that you feel like you can say anything. I mean, death threats on social media don't mean anything anymore, right? So you can say anything, you can, disagree on whatever you want, but when you actually go out there and talk to people face to face, you get to humanize them. And you get to see that, that this person is, not that different from me. Yes, he has a different opinion, and I may not agree with anything he says. You don't have to agree with anything he says, but the least you have to be able to acknowledge is the fact that A, he has the right to have that opinion. B, that does not make him a bad person, that does not make him an evil person. And C, that opinion does not warrant him being shot and killed. Because, bullets, they can't really kill ideas. It's weird, but you don't silence someone just because you shoot them and you kill them. Bullets cannot kill words. They cannot kill your thoughts. His ideas, whatever he believed in, again, whether you agree with what he believed in or not, there's so many millions of people around the world and in his country that believe that. If you want to engage in an actual conversation with somebody, if you want to defeat bad ideas, again, in air quotes, because you see them as bad ideas. If you want to do that, the best way to defeat bad ideas is through promoting better ideas, having open debates, having conversations, showing to people your side is better, that it deserves more merit. That's the essence of how we get to the truth. And that's what should be celebrated. Having conversations, open and honest conversations about major disagreements. That's the only thing that will lead to any kind of change. While it's been a very disheartening week news-wise, I think one of the things that is very important right now is for people to not stop talking about the things they believe in. And I know that it's easier said than done, but really don't cower, don't be afraid, don't self-censor yourself. That's the most important thing. The moment people start self-censoring themselves, it usually means they do it out of fear of something. They're fearful, they're not sure what the reaction is going to be. The battle is already lost, right? Share your opinions in a respectful manner, because you're free to do that. We're all still relatively free to do that. And we have the privilege of being able to do that. Because, if we cower now, if we say, okay, now it's not safe anymore, maybe in a generation or two, the next generations will not even have the opportunity to speak out. They will not even be free enough to talk about things that they care about. So at this moment, the most important thing is to continue to have conversations, continue to talk, and be courageous and not be afraid. Not be afraid of the things that you're thinking, not self-censor, and go out there and really engage with the world in a meaningful way.